on top of the world, about to jump above it. Take it straight to the moon, 'cause we know how to rock it. Ain't no thing you can do, ain't no way to stop it. Now you're feeling it too, let's get it started. Throw your hands in the air while the beat is dropping. Acting like you don't care when everybody's watching. Just keep whipping your hair like that, you got it. Yeah, you're feeling it too, let's get it started. I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Charge off the meter, turn it up, blow the speakers, make them all to believers, break through the surface, tell them open the curtains, give them all what they wanted, yeah, now let's get started. Let's get it, get it. Yeah, I'm ready, ready, are you ready, I'm ready, let's get it started. Yeah, I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it, get it. Let's get it started. Let's get it started. Let's get it. Yeah. Give me something new. Time to break loose. Take it to another level. Now we on the move. Shout if you coming with me. Going over the limit. On your mark, keep it steady. So tell me, are you ready? I'm ready, ready. Let's get it, get it. I'm ready, ready. Are you ready, ready? Let's get it started.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're looking live behind me. It's behind me now. Atlanta Motor Speedway, and somewhere on the other side of the racetrack is my colleague. I'm Wesley Outland. Samuel Dyer, where are you at? It looks like I'm somewhere between turn number 1 and 2, and I think you're somewhere off turn 4.
Nah, I'm like right on the middle of 1 and 2. You're at the entry level. We're both on the same corner. That divider's just messing with us.
We're in another part of the spectrum. Hey, we welcome you to coverage on the Community Radio Network as well as LSRTV with coverage of the Northwest Iracing Truck Series. Guess what? Tonight is Elimination Night. The round of 12 is going to become the round of 8, just like it was for the Cup Series. 200 miles, 140 exciting laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Samuel Dyer, what do you think we're going to see tonight, my friend?
I think we're going to see something very similar to what we saw Monday night. Hard racing, probably some early cautions, and, really the pressure's on. There's similar drivers that were in kind of the same state. I mean, Jeff Stabnow, got to think he's in a similar spot where he's outside looking in coming into tonight. Ryan Bloom is that bubble driver again. He's got to hope that he doesn't make a similar mistake of being caught up in wrecks, but right now, I mean, looking at the field, there's 2 drivers, that being Sean Breisman as well as Dennis Moore. They could lock themselves in just by starting the race because of how kind of small the field is and how many points they have over everyone else, the consistency they've had. We could have a total of 5 drivers already locked in by the time that we start this race.
And the same thing that we dealt with on Monday night for the Cup Series is the same thing that's going to be tonight for the trucks. You're going to see these drivers, I think, push it to the limit, try to make these Hail Mary passes, if you will, the launch to the front. And like I said in closing on Monday night, by the way, I like you sporting your blue and I'm sporting my red here. So flip-flopping the colors, I think, from the other. No, I wore black the other night, actually. So, yes, for sure. But anyhow, back to what I was trying to say was that, like we talked about in closing, Samuel, with the Cup Series on Monday night, these trucks are going to be in the same predicament. These drivers are going to do anything they can to get to the front. They're going to battle, and if they can't win the race, they're going to do anything they can position-wise to be one of these final 8 spots that are going to be up for grabs when this race ends tonight.
Yeah, and on Monday night there was a little bit of controversy that was thrown into the mix of bringing out a late caution that kind of switched things up for drivers, where they thought they were going to be racing it to the end with a long green flag run. It turned into 3 quick cautions that set up a great 20-lap run at the end of this race. But for these truck drivers, tonight could be a long green flag run type of a night where we don't see very many caution flags coming out. With the trucks, it's an open setup league, meaning the drivers had all week to set up these trucks the way they wanted, to make sure it was as loose as they wanted it to be, or as tight, or just perfectly snug. These drivers had all week to set that up. So if they make any type of errors early on, they can make those changes in pit road. But tonight certainly is going to be the drama's up there, a lot closer of action at the bubble spot, and I'm excited to watch it here tonight.
All right, Samuel Dyer, we're ready to go here at Atlanta. Who's your picks for the Tom Denchel 200?
I haven't won in a while, so I think I'm going with the winning hand here. I'm going to be going with Sean Bridesman.
Again!
And here's the thing.
Again!
Here's the thing, though. Sean, he could have won this race back in the spring, and he came up short, came up second, and he's really been having a great run, and I think the truck's going to be fitting for Sean Bridesman and could be one of the first drivers to sweep both the ARCA, the Cup, and the trucks all in 1 week.
Just put it down there.
Hey, look, Wesley, thanks for following my pick.
You're reading my mind. Man. What are you doing? I mean, seriously. Okay, producer, who made the call first for their pick? Was it me or him?
I did.
Wow, but you didn't know what my pick was going to be. But anyhow, we're both riding or dying with Sean. Well, hopefully not dying with Sean Bridesman.
Oh, no.
And of course, everything, Samuel, that you said in regards to Sean Bridesman, I say ditto on that as well. I'm not going to waste my breath saying the same thing over again. Listen, except this. He was had his back against the wall by missing a race last year in the playoffs. He wanted a track at Texas that looked so similar to Atlanta. He's been really, really strong here. He dominated the ARCA race on Friday night. Man, my pick is Sean Bridesman. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And the copycat Sean Bridesman or Samuel Dyer is doing the exact same thing. So, hey
I have to do something.
Go ahead.
I have to make some type of move. You've gotten so many picks. I've got to start going back to the ways I was picking before when I had my week at the Indy Oval.
Oh, and by the way, Caden Anderson won the Cup race on Monday night at Atlanta. Sean Bridesman finished second, but they were right there within a cat's whisker of one another. And again, Dan West Jr. was my pick on Monday night. Well, he picked Lake Peterson, but then he jumped ship and joined the Dan West Jr. gang as well. So somehow or some other, he is copying my picks. I'm going to put a block on him or something. I don't know what's going on. He's figured out my secrets, and I don't like it. No, it's all in fun. The round of 8 will be decided after tonight and the Tom Denchel Automotive 200. Here's a word from our sponsor as we are set to go green very soon when we return. Your LSRTV Race 411, the weather conditions, and that starting lineup when we return from Atlanta.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Welcome back to Atlanta Motor Speedway. Oh, yeah. Hey, safety crew guys, get in your trucks, get to work. We're about to get these guys on the racetrack very, very soon. Welcome back to Coverage. Northwest Iracing Truck Series from Atlanta. Hot Atlanta tonight. We're about 5 minutes away. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland, and this broadcast is presented by Rocket Media. And, of course, live sim racing audio coverage presented by the Community Radio Network. Solely for the private, non-commercial use of our listening audience, any publication, reproduction, re-airing of this event without the express written consent of all of those networks of iRacing is restricted and prohibited. So, hey, we thank you. I'm sorry, producer, I've had it in my head. I had to mention it earlier on the I did forget to play it on the broadcast as well for CRN, so just go ahead and getting that out of the way. So you read my mind. So Kate Dillon, I'm sorry, we didn't use your voiceover at the beginning. We'll use it at the end. But Samuel, it's always good to keep those things in your head, word for word.
Oh, absolutely. Well, we have so much stuff we have to bounce around, and I know you're covering so many different sports as well as iRacing. Sometimes we just forget one or two things every once in a while.
This is believe it or not, this is our third broadcast tonight on the Community Radio Network. We had, actually fourth if you count Finish Line, our my Fox Sports radio show. Also, we put it on the Community Radio Network podcast. But to doing Finish Line, doing volleyball, doing soccer for the CRN Sports Clayton coverage, and then doing iRacing to cap off the night. Yes, why do I still have a voice, Sammy D? Why?
You're always hydrated, and you're keeping that vocal cords always strong and ready for all that action. As we take a look at our race information presented by LSRTV. Practice is over, qualifying soon to be over here, and 134 laps, Wesley. A little bit shorter than we had on Monday night for the Cup cars, but certainly still the same amount of action.
Hey, and by the way, remember, we're looking sponsors. So if you're interested in being a sponsor with the Northwest Cup and Truck or S&B Series or any of the cool things coming up, whether you want to be for a single race, a series, a season, yearly, a special winter discount during the off season, go to livesimracing.com, contact them, and they will take care of you because sponsorships are open for, of course, the weather conditions as well as the 411. His trucks are on the racetrack. Kevin Smith having an extra lap. I don't know why. Let's take a look at the LSR TV weather conditions. LSR weather. Didn't that sound good, Samuel? Who was it? It is 80. Hey, Charles is like, it's got a good read to it, Wesley. 89 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Sun is out, though, dipping over the 1.5 miles here. 13 mile per hour wind speed. But the track temp, just like for the Cup cars and the ARCA cars as well on Friday and Monday, Samuel, 113 degrees. We're going to keep an eye on that track temp.
Yeah, I mean, hot Atlanta, it is going to be scorching here tonight. We're going to be seeing drivers working the wheel coming out of turn 2, out of turn 4. It is going to be a handful on every single lap. But I was hearing from some of the drivers, the way that they were setting up their practices was actually warmer than what the actual track temp is going to be looking like for what it was for practice. Also for qualifying, the race as well could be a slightly cooler. So the driver setups, they're going to have to make some slight adjustments here once they get into pit road the first time. We might be seeing some trucks being a little bit tighter than expected.
All right, so again, we're ready to rock and roll. 25 seconds from now, the field will be on the racetrack. Of course, copycat Samuel Dyer taking my pick, or I'm taking his somehow. Look at your points. All right, so Samuel, I would say Tyler King, Kevin Smith, Caden Anderson, obviously they're safe. Dennis Moore, I think, is good. Sean Breitzman is good. I believe, though, behind Dan West Jr., down the top 10 to the top 12 to Paulson, anybody spot for the taking. Mere points separate those guys.
Yeah, you look at the bubble driver, that of Ryan Bloom. He's got a 7-point difference between 7th and 8th. That is a big buffer to have. That's 7 positions that Ryan Bloom has to gain if he wants to somehow crack into the top 7. But it's the top 8 that move on to the next round, and that's where Bloom's got to be concerned. He had a rough race Monday, hoping to get those jitters out, and has a much smoother race here tonight. But Jeff Stabnow looming just 3 points back, and 5 points back is Stephen O'Hare, which we've seen the Beaver State Racing crew. They are fast here in the trucks. When they're able to make a setup that's great for the long run, they can pick up speed, and that's what Atlanta is all about, is that long run pace.
It certainly is, and man, hot Atlanta, I think, is going to be fun. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to introduce the starting lineup. Listen to that music. Don't you love it? Don't you love the new pre-show music? All part of the new great things from LSRTV. And now in Ultra 4K HD, only on iRacing. Let's take a look at your front row. Fast qualifier. Ryan Bloom, Monster Energy. He's hyped up tonight at 25 to the outside. Dan West Jr. Top 3 finish in the Cup race. He'll be ready to go here of course, the 55. Row number 2, Dennis Moore, one of those drivers I think that have already made it into the playoffs by virtue of just being consistent. The 44 to the outside, Kevin Smith, the Hermiston, Washington 00. Row number 3, we'll find Cole Raz. Cole Raz in the 10 to the outside of Tyler King, the 21 machine, ready to go. Row 4 on the grid, we'll find Caden Anderson. Winner last week is going to try to go for 3 in a row. In the 37 to the outside, the Catman, meow. James Vining, he'll start 8th. Row number 5, top 10 at Hotlanta. Dan Lowther, Jeff Stabnow, there is no tomorrow. He's got to climb or get a win big in the points to at least stay in the Truck Series playoff round of 8.
And we fall back to row number 9 where we find Devin West as well as Stephen O'Hare. Devin's looking good inside of our points in the top 8. Stephen O'Hare, he's looking out, needing a solid day for this 41. As we drop back to row number 7, we find that of Robert Gamble as well as Sean Bridesman. Gamble, a driver that's 11th in points coming into tonight's race, needs a solid run. Stephen Paulson, a must-win driver coming into tonight's race. If he can get the win, he's moving on to the next round with that of John Ottenbacher to his outside. In row number 9, we find that of Judd Wakefield as well as Chris White. Chris White showed a lot of speed here Monday. We'll see if he can carry that over. Eric Cheney and Ray Fortner are going to be finishing out row number 10.
Row number 11 on the grid, we'll find Troy Daggett in 51 to the outside. Scott Hutchinson in the 91. Row number 12, we'll find the machine of Aaron Cooper. Russ Lundberg, I don't know which is more crazier, Bug Eyes Cooper or the man that looks like shark hair, Lundberg. No, it's all good. They're awesome people. And the final starter in the back, the 25th, Big Daddy, Frank Harris, Ford Performance, number 11. The race is 200 miles, 140 laps here tonight at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. By the way, they've decided to change it to 134 laps tonight. 200 miles, 134 laps. I don't know why they do that to us. 140 for the Cup, 140 for ARCA, 134 laps for the trucks. But anyhow, it's Hot Atlanta. We're ready to go. The Tom Ditchell 200 green flag, ladies and gentlemen. You have a virtual race, and Sammy D 25 virtual warlords in their kaleidoscope of colors roar into orbit down into turn number 1.
And because there are 25 drivers here, Dennis Moore, Sean Bridesman, they did not get the all clear. They still, if they have a poor showing here today, could be knocked out of our top 8.
Working their field around turn number 1 and 2. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a race. We're 1 lap in. Here they come at speed, ready to put a lap on another board. And West and Bloom, remember the legend. Let's look at the legend, producer. Light up their life. Taste the rainbow. Well, virtually, obviously. The colors are important. They mean something. Green means you've advanced. That's Kevin Smith, Tyler King, Caden Anderson. They're go, go, go to the next round. In the playoffs, blue cars or blue bars on the sticker, including Dan West Jr., Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, Devin West, Sean Bridesman as well. They're in the playoffs. Guys that could point in from the top 8 are in the orange. Jeff Stabnow, Stephen O'Hare, Robert Gamble. Drivers that are in red that have to win to advance. Samuel, it's just like on Monday night for Stephen Paulson in the 58. And if you're in black on the scoring ticker, you're just looking for a big fat W and pull the upset win, being a non-playoff contender.
And right now, I mean, we're so surprised on how well James Vining ran. And I'm honestly, the 333 might be the driver for me that could honestly have another solid podium finish here tonight. He was very quick during practice. He's been putting a lot of work in for himself. As caution flag's going to wave, incident through 1 and 2 as driver sliding down to the apron.
Oh, that's Dan Lowther. Problems in the 63 machine. Couple of other trucks. Is that Jeff Stabnow? Dan Lowther's involved with the other truck on the bottom of the apron. Who are you? Like the song by The Who. By the way, speaking of Who, I want to wish a happy birthday. Eric Cheney, Big Bird. Speaking of birthdays, Big Bird, Eric Cheney. He goes around along with Dan Lowther, and that's the cause of the caution. There's the toter, 76, into the left rear of the 63 of Dan Lowther. Team Ramrod, and a wreck they go. Weaseling by there. Cooper and Moore. And that was the cause of the caution. But anyhow, want to wish a happy birthday to my friend Melissa Ann Miller. Hope you have a great, great birthday. Enjoyed it today. And as always, thank you for your friendship. And most importantly, watching iRacing, getting familiar with the world of motorsports simulation. And no, Samuel, it's not a video game.
Yeah, you can get a bunch of people riled up if you say that iRacing is a video game. It is a simulator. It is professional.
Simulator, get it right. That's right, buddy.
But everyone has fun. That is the key thing. Be out here, have fun, be respectful, and that is what we love to see. And, talking on the caution that we just saw, we saw the replay for Eric Chaney. I touched on it. The drivers during practice all week expected this track to be a lot hotter, so they were building their trucks and setups for a very loose feeling truck. And because there's a little bit more grip, and if you're building a tight truck, you're going to plow and kind of just drive straight in the center. That's exactly what Eric Chaney did, getting into Dan Lather. And now both the drivers gotta hope that they can come back from this. Now all the trucks do have a fast repair, so the race is not completely over just yet.
So, under yellow flag, still a long way to go. First yellow flag. And while we're under the caution flag, there's a look at the standings. Hey, by the way, got a league or special event coming up? Yeah, contact Rocket Media, Live Sim, we will take care of you. Of course, contact us today, get a quote. A quote. That's a quote. Get a quote. Get a quote.
It's a long day.
At livesimracing.com. Oh.
Go get yourself a Quaker bar. You'll be fine.
Yeah. You like Quaker Oats? Listen, I apologize. I've been craving an oatmeal pie, crackers all day. I tried to have a little bit of red wine and crackers for communion earlier this afternoon, and that didn't work out for me. So yeah. Oatmeal pies. Anybody wants to send any Little Debbie oatmeal pies to my address? Our producer knows what it is. And we want to thank Lands End Apparel, by the way, for providing our shirts. We like our shirts, don't we, Charles? I mean, don't we, Samuel?
Oh, I'm loving the shirts. They are such great quality, and I am loving the stitching as well for the LSRTV. I honestly would recommend for sure for everyone.
Well, I'm not available Friday and Saturday unless it's during the winter time, but if you want to get your simulation, not a game, your simulation series league on iRacing, on LSRTV, contact livesimracing.com. They are currently taking bookings for Friday and Saturday. By the way, we're looking for daytime races as well. Samuel, I know you put your name in the hat for that.
I love daytime racing. You never know who you're going to get during that time. You might get people from Europe, or you might be getting some people from other countries as well. It's always a blast to see daytime races, especially when you're in the U.S.
Somebody just messaged me and said, "Oh, Wesley, I have Little Debbie oatmeal pies. You should have told me." I want them now. Cue up the Queen song. I want it all. Snickers satisfies. Thank you, Chevy 5. Yes. Well, not whenever your dog eats your lunch and your dinner. Okay, I come home, the dog ate my food, and I had to thrash it. Let me finish, okay? I had to thrash to scarf down one hot dog before we went live on the air. Ask Samuel; he'll tell you. He saw it live.
It was something, all right. I thought I was seeing a Joey Chestnut in front of me.
I wanted to compete in the hot dog competition, like July. Oh, here we go at Coney Island. By the way, Nathan's Hot Dogs are the bomb, and we're back underway here at Atlanta. 9 laps in of 134. This is 200 miles, and they're back to the whip again. West, Moore, Bloom, and Samuel 3 trucks single file. Meanwhile, they're 2x2x2 like Noah leading the animals to the arc up in the Angels Expressway in 3.
And right now, Jeff Stabnow around Kane Anderson as well as Tyler King. Drivers that are trying to run as well as they can. And for Jeff Stabnow, looking to have a solid run. Came up short Monday. Will not be moving to the round of 8 for the Cup cars. But for the trucks, he's got to make sure he is at least 3 positions ahead of Ryan Bloom, which it's going to be tough when you're seeing the 25 truck up front in the top 3 and looking strong.
What kind of battle will that be as we watch these trucks, as you just mentioned? There's Jeff Stabnow along with Caden Anderson in that mix. Tyler King right there. Samuel, there's so many great drivers that are in the cusp of transferring. They just need that one advancement, that one spot, or most importantly, that win that can solidify it. Could tonight be that night for Jeff Stabnow? Down below the bottom of the apron, going after a 2-3 trucks. Can't get there. Losing ground on Bloom and Anderson and Smith as they go to 3.
Yeah, and right now the battling that's going on for 5th on back still raging on. And you know that Cole Raz is going to be bringing in some heat and some speed. But the driver that's trying to figure out how to bubble into this top 10, Stephen O'Hare from Beaver State Racing, currently in 11th, the most furthest back of all the Beaver State drivers. And he's going to be finding himself back at 10th in points, needing to have at least 5 to 6 positions ahead of that of Ryan Bloom if he wants a shot to be beating out and getting to the top 8. And on top of being 5 positions ahead of Ryan Bloom, needs to be at least 3 positions ahead of Jeff Stabnow. These factors and scenarios, there's a lot of them that we're going to be bringing up throughout the night. But there are certainly those drivers in orange trying to point their way in, but a win secures your in without even worrying about the points.
Not done yet in the Atlanta 215 or the Tom Denchel 200. As we watch these drivers working their way back around the racetrack again. Here you go, back into turn number 3. West, Vining, Moore, Anderson, Stabnow, top 5, man in orange. Needing a win, obviously, to punch his ticket. But Samuel, here's the thing, buddy. Consistent for the 24 in the last couple of months, 2 months, if you will, before the start of the playoffs as we close in 5 weeks completed in the round of 12. Jeff has been on the cusp of improving, just not getting wins, except a ARCA win in Iowa. And instead of accept that, he's just trying to dig himself out of a hole. Week in, week up, week out. 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, but he's still in the cusp of advancing. If he can survive tonight in 24, he's in the top 5.
Yeah, Jeff Stabnow, I mean, you're talking about consistency. He has tied with the 3rd most top 5s of everyone in the league compared to, and he's also going to be tied with that of Dan West Jr. The only drivers that have more top 5s than the 24 team is Sean Bridesman and Caden Anderson, which both those drivers, they've been winning all season long, so it's no surprise that they have so many top 5s. But Jeff Stabnow has been just right there, but he has not gotten the win that he's been just trying to get all season long. But it always seems like something not allowing the 24 to get a win. But speaking of wins, look at the 0-0. I mean, Kevin Smith comes into the playoffs, wins at the Indianapolis Road Course, and now running up front in the top 10 here at Atlanta, and just showing he's racing around the big dogs and showing that he is here to stay.
Always something there to remind me. Lyrics to a song and the way things are going right now for these drivers. Cole Raz had a very eventful Monday night, if you will, in the number 10. Good to see him back on racetrack, and he's currently in the number 8 position. His teammate, Caden Anderson, Samuel, obviously picking up the win at Iowa and at Atlanta, 2 race wins in a row.
Yeah, I mean, it has been incredible to watch Caden Anderson in the way that he's been just dominating, it feels like, these last couple of weeks, and also winning on Monday by just 25 thousandths of a second over that of Sean Bridesman. But Cole Raz, he's certainly going to be needing a little bit of help here. The 10 trying to make the pass on Kevin Smith. Both Smith and Raz down 3 positions, but both these drivers seem to be going with the strategy of long run pace. They're okay with slowing down now because they know they're going to be finding a little bit more speed in the next 5 to 10 laps when the drivers in front of them start to fall off, such as our leader, that being Dan West Jr., seems to be falling down. And Wesley, look who's in second place.
Look who's up there. Here, kitty, kitty, meow, meow, meow. Don't step on my mouse. He's after Dan West Jr. James Vining coming hot and heavy for the double nickel down to the third turn. Look at the Catman go. That Toyota looking strong here tonight at Hot Atlanta, Samuel D.
Yeah, I mean, James Vining, he's been talking to me a lot these last couple of weeks, giving me a lot of information about the team and how they've been trying to work on their setups week in and week out. Coming into this week, they really weren't sure about how their pace was going to be until this morning. Did some group practice with some of the drivers on their final setups, and James Vining has been topping the boards, been in the top 3 of speed in these trucks all week long. The 333 might be going for a win here tonight.
Could tonight be the night for the Catman? Meow, meow, meow. Still a long way to go in Atlanta. We're on lap number 20 now. Next time by completed as Dan West Jr. from Shelton, Washington, battling Vining. Look at Dennis Moore. Samuel, I know they say green's a bad luck color in racing, but I will just say this. It seems like since Dennis Moore went from orange to green, he has just been somebody to just keep an eye on and watch, and he's been consistent. You are not alone, Dennis Moore.
No, not at all. Dennis Moore has been, honestly, like you said, in the orange, there was a lot of speed in the 44 team. Dennis Moore showed that he could qualify and be quick. He had found that of Dennis Moore with 2 pole positions that he gained this year and actually showed a lot of pace. But the unfortunate bad luck, the inconsistency would show up. But it's been the long run speed that has been helping the 44 of Dennis Moore find the momentum each and every week. And Dennis Moore comes in with a 22-point advantage over that of Jeff Stabnow. That's 9th in points. So all that Dennis Moore needs to do, just finish in the top 22, and he'll be moving on to the next round.
Couple of laps away from locking in 25 into this Atlanta Tom Denchel 200, 134 laps of distance at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We'll go back to coverage on your home for sim racing, Iracing, here on this Wednesday night. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland here with you. Simulcast on not just LSRTV, but also on the Community Radio Network. And what an event it's been so far. 24 of 134 laps, 110 laps remaining when they come back around. Still a lot of racing remaining. As right now, Dan West Jr. holding off the field at bay. Dennis Moore down to second. And here comes K.A. Samuel, Yakima, Washington, Monday night winner. Caden Anderson, as we got trucks on the pit lane coming in.
Yeah, that was Scott Hutchinson, and you saw heavily damaged was that 91. Unscheduled stop for himself, going to be going into pit road, banking on not using a fast repair, but with how heavily damaged that 91 is, going to get repairs, damaged, and also most likely use a fast repair. But Scott Hutchinson, that is not the way you want to start out this race. He's going to probably go multiple laps down. Might be the end of the night for the 91.
Yeah, what a tough break, man, for Scott. Always good seeing him here. It just seems like he's also been one of those guys that just continued to struggle.
And Wesley,
look at this now,
Scott,
Anderson and Stabnow. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. We talked on top of each other. My apologies.
All good. With the fact that Scott Hutchinson and Eric Chaney both in pit road and not showing signs of getting out, we're left with 22 drivers on track. That means Dennis Moore, even if he falls back to 22nd position, as long as those drivers that are outside of the top 8 don't win the race, the 44 looking like he'll be pointing his way into the next round.
Yeah, we'll definitely watch that, my friend. We'll definitely need to keep an eye on Caden Anderson. Obviously, he knows he's going to the next round. You got the green bar, but for Jeff Stabnow, and honestly, Samuel, if he stays right where he's at right now as we go on board with Jeff Stabnow, the Billings, Montana LSRTV 4K 424 down the front straightaway through the tri-oval, or the double dog leg, if you will. He is in a comfortable spot, Samuel, that if the checkered flag was to wave now, he would probably transfer into the round of 8. But it's not done yet. Still over 100 laps to go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of those drivers that Jeff Stabnow is around currently. For Jeff Stabnow, needs to make sure he's at least 3 positions ahead of Ryan Bloom. Currently, Ryan Bloom right behind the 24 in positions. And as well, the next driver would be Dennis West. And right now, Devin West. Devin West currently in 9th place, while Jeff Stabnow's in 4th. And that is just not enough positions currently. So Jeff Stabnow needing some of those drivers that are going to be 7th and 8th in points currently have a little bit more of an off day.
And still a long way to go. They go back to turn number 1. Look at this, approaching 30 laps in. By the way, as we put lap 30 on the board, which will be 29 completed, let's take a look at the rundown here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway in the Tom Dinchell Atlanta 200. Dan West Jr. leads, Dennis Moore is 2nd, Caden Anderson 3rd, Jeff Stabnow 4th, and Ryan Bloom the top 5. Kevin Smith has now moved to 6th, flip-flop that. Cole Rass 6th, Kevin Smith 7th, Stephen O'Hare 8th, Devin West is 9th, and Samuel Sean Reitzman, our pick, both in the top 10.
Yeah, and you're seeing the 5 of Devin West getting into the wall, now dropping back to 10th. The 5, got to be concerned. Don't want to get into the wall too often. But pit road, something we're going to be getting into here in the next 10 to 15, possibly 20 laps. Pit road's about to get very busy, but finishing out the rest of the drivers, Tyler King going to be in 11th place for the 21. James Vining, who was battling for the lead at one moment, showing that he's got a great short run truck. For the long run, it's where he's struggling, back in 12th position. Stephen Paulson, a must-win driver if he wants to see that round number 8 and see the 58 involved, back in 13th. Chris White back in 14th. Robert Gamble, another one of those drivers you see in orange, could potentially point his way in, back in 15th position and being challenged by that of John Ottenbacher. And now looks like the 333 into pit road. That short run setup, it is not good enough for James Vining, as he is going to be taking it into pit road and going to be getting serves done. Most likely going to be taking tires for the 333 team.
We'll keep an eye on it now as the James Vining, the Catman. What a great run in the opening 31 laps for the driver of the 333 machine. Samuel, green flag pit stops, is it early strategy, or do you think it's too soon, or do you think they had to pit for something else?
I mean, right now for that James Vining, if he's planning on making a 3 pit stop type of a night, this is the perfect time to come in and make 3 pit stops throughout the whole entire night. But that is an extra pit stop than what most of the drivers out here are going to be focusing on. A lot of the drivers are going to be aiming for around lap 45 to 50 is going to be their window to turn this race into a 2-stop race. And if drivers are planning on making this a 1-stop, they got to get halfway. Around lap 67 is their window to 68.
And still a long way to go as 34 laps are completed. Next time by, it will be 100 remaining. No yellow flag yet, as the field working their way back around the racetrack at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Quiet race, do you think, Samuel?
Yeah, right now it's pretty quiet. I mean, we saw Devin West get into the wall, and I think that's going to be the biggest thing here tonight is what is everyone, with it being an open setup, drivers are able to make the adjustments that they want, make sure the truck feels comfortable for them. So we're not going to be seeing the slipping and sliding as much as we saw for the Cup cars, where drivers were struggling and seeing the rear end sliding all over the place. As you see, as I say that though in front, Jeff Stabnow extremely low for the 24, which that was an issue for Jeff Stabnow on Monday night, was getting extremely loose. And as well on Friday night when he was racing in the ARCA cars, got loose for himself and almost wrecked out a couple of times. So for Jeff Stabnow, he's probably banking on getting to lap 45 and making this pit stop soon, so he doesn't have to stay on these old set of tires for too long.
West, Moore, both in blue, meaning that they are in the cusp of making it in. They're on the transfer of the points in the top 12. Anderson and Green. Of course, in the playoffs, winning. Bloom in the playoffs in third. Could point into the top 8 by virtue of positions. If you get a win, you're in. Those drivers in orange include Jeff Stabnow, highest runner, 5th. Stephen O'Hare in 10th. And Robert Gamble right now at the bottom of the barrel in 16th position. Drivers in red, obviously, Samuel, we talked about this, and it's such heartbreak in the Daytona Cup winner, Stephen Paulson, who's currently 13th on the racetrack. He got eliminated on Monday from the Cup Series playoffs, and if he doesn't do well tonight, a win, he needs it. If he doesn't get the win, his playoffs are done as well.
Yeah, Stephen Paulson, a driver that we've seen have consistent runs throughout the season, but missed out on the last 2 races at the Indy Oval as well as at Iowa, missing out on those races. And so Cat was in a major hole, came into this Atlanta race in a must-win scenario, and now having to figure out where to find some speed. Currently in 13th, like you said, Wesley, and I'm not seeing anything right now that is showing that the 58 has got a winning truck, unless he's got some type of a miracle strategy that's going to allow him to gain all the time that he's lost currently in this stint.
By the way, lap 70 was halfway on Monday night for 140 laps. This is 134 laps here in the Tom Denchel Atlanta 200. This race will be halfway on lap 67. Lap 67, when that lap is completed, we are officially halfway through the race. Obviously, as Paulson goes up the racetrack, gets passed by the driver of James Vining. Remember, coming in February, the Trans Service Cup Series, sanctioned by the Sim 500 Iracing League. My buddy Joey Gattina from NASCAR and ARCA, and the band is back together again. We used to do some stuff a long time ago on ETV Live, and looking forward to working with Joey Gattina and Samuel. We're going to have a fun time, awesome schedule every Monday night before the Northwest Cup Series, obviously. Sim 500 Iracing League. And also announced on Monday, Samuel, we can talk about it, coming in November, a 10-race winter series for the Sim 500 Racing League, which will be kind of like a tune-up, if you will, to get ready for February.
Yeah, a little way to introduce the Sim 500 to the LSR family, and also for us as announcers, well, primarily me, I would imagine, to get myself adequated for all of the drivers. I'm really excited to meet a new league and all the new drivers and personalities that you know, Wesley, and I get to meet during Monday nights.
Well, I will just say this. On any given night in the Sim 500 League, you could possibly get a NASCAR superstar or superstars to pop in. Crew members on NASCAR ARCA teams, Cars Tour teams. You never know. That's just one of the great things that Joey Gattina has put together, and we are now excited to have it a part of your home for sim racing. There is Paulson. He is all the way back in 13th. As we're working lap number 43 of 134. Welcome back to your coverage. And look at this teammates battling in front of Cole Raz. Sean Brightsman, he's in 7th. Stabnow, 6th, up on the top shelf. Side by side, both needing a good run to go to the round of 8. Samuel off turn 4.
Yeah, and the teammates of LSRTV, they have both put down the fastest lap of the day. Earlier this stint, both of them have put down the fastest laps, and both that of Jeff Stabnow and Sean Brightsman been the biggest mover so far. Sean Brightsman, the biggest mover, up 7 positions, currently in 7th, would be up 8 positions once he makes the pass on his teammate. But Wesley, these drivers of Jeff Stabnow and Sean Brightsman, they opted out from qualifying, so they had to start in the middle of this pack. They've been slowly working their way forward, and I like this strategy. They're getting more experience of what it's like around lap traffic, so when they get up front, they know how to make these moves as Stephen Paulson into pit road.
Paulson coming down to the pit lane, the driver in red. You heard of the lady in red? Well, driver in red on the scoring legend ticker. If he doesn't win tonight, his season is over as far as a quest for a championship. He did the same thing on Monday night, got eliminated as green flag pit stops are underway, giving up a good top 5 run. Dennis Moore, 44. You're not alone. More trucks are coming down the pit lane. Here comes Kevin Smith, Stephen O'Hare, Tyler King. Samuel, you catch the segue? Here they come.
Yeah, they are coming in quick, but you could see the damage on the right side of the double zero, the scrub mark on the right side. Got into the wall was Kevin Smith, and now he's got to hope that that damage isn't going to be influencing too much on this next run. But now Smith's got to continuously think throughout this race, do I want to use a fast repair or keep with the damage I got and slowly work on that repair?
After this cycle of green flag pit stops, watching these other guys come to the pit lane. Christopher White is on the pit lane. You're seeing some of the green flag pit stops going on here right now. Dan West Jr. leads. When will he come down to the pit lane? We'll watch it. We're going to go side by side. You don't miss a thing. We'll be back with more coverage from Atlanta as we approach lap number 50 and halfway on the horizon. The Northwest Cup Series, round of 12, Truck Series playoffs now. To the round of 8 we go. More coverage when we return from Atlanta. Hey, it's Wesley Outland, the face with the voice of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American Iracing League that you hear simulcasted on the Community Radio Network. And that's what we want to tell you about. We are excited to continue the partnership of covering esports on CRN, just like we do with all the other broadcasts that I cover in real life, like MAV TV, Short Track America, Speed 51 TV, Fox Sports Radio for college, high school sports. The Community Radio Network does the same thing. In addition to broadcasting real athletics, we're excited to be the radio voice of LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest Cup and Truck Series presented by Tom Denchel Automotive Group, the American Iracing League, and special events along the way. It's very simple. On your web browser, laptop, tablet, or cell phone, go to wearecrn.com, click on play, and you are able to keep up with the action. It's very simple. The power of radio to the imagination of the listener. Check us out when you can. Esports coverage from LSRTV on CRN, the Community Radio Network, wearecrn.com. We are closing in on lap number. Oh, wow. Oh, my goodness. We're back on CRN LSR TV. We're closing in on lap number 50 right now as they cross the score loop. Samuel, Cole Raz now, the man out in front. Teammates, Caden Anderson right behind him.
As well as Sean Bridesman. All three of those drivers still have not made their pit stop. As you see Ryan Bloom in the pit road, as well as Robert Gamble. And no surprise, drivers try to pick and choose when they really want to take their next pit road. Troy Daggett, Dan Lather, they might be the drivers that stay out even longer than the other drivers as they came into pit road on lap 5 and got their service done. But yeah, Wesley, teammates up front, no surprise, Cole Raske and Anderson, they are putting down some mighty quick times, and they're continuing to show their pace.
Samuel, 50 laps in, and a lot of people are coming in for a pit stop.
Yeah, it's one of those things where this was right at the marker, lap 45 to 50, when drivers were thinking about making this race into a two-stop strategy. And anything between lap 50 until they get to around lap 68, they're going to be right around the window of still having to make a two-stop mark. But hey, here's the major scare is when you got fresh tires going up against old ones as our leaders almost got absolutely wiped out by Beaver State Racing. Dennis Moore, Stephen O'Hare, they're flying, and here comes Dan West Jr. Woo, that 55 is cruising.
Coming down to the pit lane, here comes teammates Cole Raz, Caden Anderson, also Dan Lowther, who got in a caution earlier with Eric Cheney. who is out of the race. He's on the pit lane as well. More green flag pit stops cycling in on lap number 54, less than 15 laps away to halfway, Samuel.
Still waiting on two more drivers to come into pit road, that being Sean Breisman and Troy Daggett. Both those drivers will finish out this green flag pit stop cycle. But I got to say, Wesley, looking at that first stint and the drivers that were ahead, I think we might have made a mistake on who we picked. If Dan West Jr. is looking extremely fast on the short run and on the long run, and Sean Breisman now into pit road for the 46. But the 55 team is looking probably the fastest truck on track and might be the favorite if we stay green all the way to the end of this race.
Yeah, he's looking really, really good as right now drivers are back on the pit lane and more service, more work ongoing here in the Tom Denchel Auto Group Atlanta 200. Just before halfway, top contenders coming in, Ford tires and fuel. And as you said, Samuel, a lot of these drivers mired in with lap traffic, and that is making things interesting because those drivers are also not on new rubber tires, if you will. They're not on new rubber, fresher tires, old tires, worn out to the nub, and that is causing a lot of havoc for these fast guys trying to make negotiations around the field.
Yeah, a lot of the drivers in this stint, we have that of Dan Lather that pitted, Russ Lundberg that pitted back on lap 34, but most of the field, they came in either around lap 45 to lap 53, and just one lap difference is a major advantage as here comes Troy Daggett going to be finishing out this green flag pit stop cycle. But Dan West Jr. pitted on lap 49, and whenever you look at the trends of watching these races, it always seems like the driver that can find that equal medium of not pitting too early, not pitting too late. They're the drivers that can pull away, and to top on to that, Dan West Jr. is the fastest driver and was the leader when he came into pit road. I got to say, this 55 team, they're impressing me, but we also know the two drivers that are running in second and third, that of Dennis Moore, Stephen O'Hare, they know how to find some pace as well, and might have to be for Stephen O'Hare a miracle type of a night for him to be able to make the pass on the 55 later on.
Keeping it on all these drivers and what they're doing. Racing rolls on here at Hotlanta. Halfway, coming up in less than 10 laps. As right now you're on board with in front of them, behind him is Stephen O'Hare. That's in front of the driver of Dennis Moore. You're on board with the 44. And there is Stephen O'Hare, who honestly, Samuel, had to win Talladega in a wild finish to advance into the playoffs. He's done pretty good holding his own. He's right there on the cusp of making it in, but he's got to do it by points, and he's got to climb the ladder, just like Jeff Stabnow was doing earlier. Stabnow's fall back to 9th on the racetrack.
Yeah, right now for that of Stephen O'Hare, he is in a very tricky situation. Has to make sure that he's at least 2 positions ahead of Jeff Stabnow, and needs to be 5 positions ahead of Ryan Bloom to make sure that Stephen O'Hare can make it into the next round. So it needs a lot of different factors to work out, and currently they're very close to one another. I mean, you see Jeff Stabnow, he's fallen back to 8th place. Ryan Bloom's in 6th. So with where Stephen O'Hare is, he starts to see the 25 drop back, but you see that of Jeff Stabnow, one of the drivers that decided to pit a little bit later than everyone else, using this fresh rubber and climbing his way through the ranks.
There is Stabnow inside. Ryan Bloom, pole truck, Ryan Bloom. Samuel having a better race here tonight than what he had the other night, obviously. Ryan Bloom had a bad night at Atlanta in the Cup race.
Yeah, Ryan Bloom, I mean, it felt like almost immediately was taken out of the race, was 2 laps down, and just never could come back from the incidences, and then was caught up in a wreck that was halfway through the race. And Ryan Bloom, that was not the way that he wanted his Cup playoff to end for himself, but tonight is a rebound night. For Ryan Bloom, this is all about making sure, getting redemption for how Monday went, just trying to run consistent. And honestly, Ryan didn't have the best race either for that of Friday night. So I got to be thankful for this 25 team. let's continue to just build each race here at Atlanta. And that's the big thing about the drivers that come from the ARCA series and the development, getting more experience on the track. And even if you have an off night in the Cup car, you got the trucks on Wednesday night. And right now, Ryan Bloom running currently in 6th, but still a solid day for himself. And all he needs to do is make sure that he stays pretty close to O'Hare and Jeff Stabnow. He has to stay within 2 positions of Jeff Stabnow and within 5 positions of O'Hare, but that's exactly what he's doing currently, and he'll be moving on to the next round.
Close it in on halfway in just about 5 laps. Dan West Jr. leading, Katie Moore second. Devin West third. Samuel, speaking of the 5 truck, let's give him some love real quick. Remember, he bounced off that wall in that WCS LSRTV entry Ford Chevrolet. And so far, since he came back down to the pits, he's looking much better. Do you think he took on a fast repair?
I don't think he took on a fast repair. He just scrubbed it just minorly, and it wasn't enough to truly slow him down currently. The fresh tires currently is really what's helping that of Devin West. And also, having a pretty similar setup to his dad, and it's helping, the 55 and the 5 team up in the top 3 makes sense. And for Devin West, he's also kind of running like Ryan Bloom. There's a little bit of pressure to run up front. If Devin West gets a top 10 finish here tonight, he will also be moving on to the round of 8. But if he falls outside of the top 10 and goes back to, 16th or 17th and finishes there here tonight, that gives it a wide open shot for that of Stephen O'Hare and for Jeff Stabnow to possibly steal a spot into the top 8.
Yeah, wide open spaces for sure as we watch these drivers working their way back around the racetrack out of turn number 4 back down to the tri-oval. Couple of more laps as Dan West Jr. is out in front. There you see Devin West trying to run down Dennis Moore, trying to make it a father-son front row as laps close in on halfway at Atlanta for the Northwest Iracing Truck Series and the Tom Denchel Auto 200. West, Moore, West, O'Hare, Smith. Sounds like a law firm, Samuel, off of turn 4.
And they're going to make sure you are treated right. That is for sure. As right now, they're all doing great. They're doing exactly what they need to do. Be up front. Be the best. That's a law firm I want to be a part of.
They are certainly doing well as they work their way back off around the racetrack. Hey, want to send a big shout out to a couple of friends of mine, Trent and Liz. Of course, all checking out the coverage. And everybody, hopefully you're all doing well. Keep watching. As by the way, we are coming up on halfway. And if you think the iRacing broadcast is awesome, what you're seeing in real time, wait till you see this right about now. Cross flags are in the air. Welcome back to coverage on your home for sim racing and on, of course, LSRTV and simulcast on the Community Radio Network. He is Samuel Dyer. I am Wesley Outland here. And Samuel, so far a calm race. We're halfway. By the way, it is time for the Tom Denchel Automotive Group mid-race report halfway here at Hot Atlanta. But it's not being hot. The calm before the storm, do you think, Samuel?
I think right now this is just what we're expected to see for the rest of the race. Unless someone just has their tire blows or a failure happens, this is what we're expecting to see. Drivers keeping it clean and green and being slowly and methodically moving themselves forward. And I got to say, biggest surprise for me has to be Dan West Jr. I don't understand how the 55 has the best short run speed and the best long run speed out of everyone out here. Usually you have to pick. Do you want the short run or do you want the long run? Somehow he's found that balance.
And there's still a lot of racing here left to go. Let's be honest. We're on lap number 70 of 134 laps, which is, by the way, 6 laps less than what we were scheduled to run, Samuel, on, of course, Monday night for this race tonight. But it's been calm. One caution flag, a little tangle between Dan Lowther and Eric Cheney. Other than that, it's been a comfortable ride for guys like Dennis Moore. Obviously, you think of what, the West family's doing right now. Cole Raz at one time, a nice, comfortable race. When is it going to become chaotic? When is people's patience going to come up to here, bypass, and then you're going to see really hard racing to lock in the round of 8 from the round of 12 playoff finale tonight?
Yeah, I'm expecting that to be around our next pit stop. That's going to be around lap 90 to 100 when we're seeing drivers picking and choosing when they're coming into pit road and not. That pit road seems to be one of the most dangerous spots on the racetrack currently, as we've only seen a couple of drivers when you get 30 laps into a run, and with the timing of the drivers coming to pit road, that might be around lap 80, where drivers might get a little bit loose and squirrely off the exits of turns 2 and 4, but besides that, everyone's been doing pretty good on themselves. I'm expecting it after lap 100. That's when everything's going to ramp up.
So it'll probably T-minus 28 laps. Get ready for the fireworks to fly here at Atlanta. He is Sam. I'm Wesley, and that's been your Tom Denchel Automotive Group mid-race report. And I don't think we're changing our picks. We're still staying with Sean Brightsman. He's right now in the top 10, Samuel. It seems like he's been there all night.
It seems like it, but when he came out of pit road, he stayed out so much longer than everyone else. Everyone made their pit stop anywhere from lap 45 to 53, while that of Sean Brightsman extended it another 2 more laps for himself, which lost a lot of time. And actually, Sean Brightsman, all that time and ground that he gained for himself, actually moved up to 7th and 6th position before pit stops started to go underway. He fell all the way back to 14th. He's only been able to move up 4 positions since he's came into pit road, but there's 4 spots that he can gain right in front of him as you see the battling of O'Hare, as well as Anderson, Stabnow, Smith. Brightsman's coming with a head of steam, and he's got fresher tires than the drivers in front of him.
Watching everything unfold as Samuel thinks halfway. Here, just past it, lap 100, 25 laps from now, when they come back across the lap to the start-finish line, is when he thinks all hell is going to break loose, and I mean that with no disrespect as we watch these drivers. Hey, by the way, LiveSimRacing.com is looking for you're not taking my job, and you darn sure ain't taking Samuel's. But hey, as we continue to expand and grow as the leader of your home in sim racing with our broadcast coverage in 4K Ultra HD only on iRacing Simulations, currently we're looking for announcers, on-air talent, producers. You got to look good on camera. You can't break the camera when we put you on it. I don't know how I can swing by on that. And producers are also needed if you've got the skills of running the cameras and doing production. You're wanted as well. Just like when Uncle Sam wants you in the Army, we want you on Team LSRTV. Contact us now and apply today at LiveSimRacingTV.com. We want you on LSRTV. You should do a promotional thing for that, Samuel. What do you think?
One of these days, we're going to record that. Honestly, we might just have to go back, clip that, we'll send that, we'll paste it everywhere. We need you. Yeah. But, I mean, it's very true. We do need more announcers. Wesley, we want you on every broadcast, but you can't show up for everyone because you've got CRN obligations. So we need people to work
CRN
with me
and NASCAR
or any
and
other
NAV
people.
TV and Speed 51 and how many other things do I have going on in my life? Yes, for sure.
You've got a bunch of plans ahead of you that you for sure are going to keep on getting busy.
I am ready for the winter. I'll tell you that much. And there is no off season in the wintertime. What are you talking about? There is no off season in the wintertime either, so sorry. Yeah. I resent the fact. I don't feel like I'm fat, okay? You might think you're fat, but I don't think I'm fat.
I feel like I need to get into a little bit of a healthier shape, but I feel good.
Did I give a shout out to Arnold and Elizabeth Trent? I want to say hello to them. Arnold and Elizabeth Trent tuning in. Yes, thanks for checking out the broadcast. They're the ones that were like, man, this is cool quality. Holy cow. And it's like watching the real deal. So it might be, hopefully it gets a little bit more exciting than the real deal. For sure. Hey, speaking of weather conditions, can we check out the LSRTV weather conditions? The temperature, I wonder, is dropping because, oh, look at that, Samuel. Cloud cover on the horizon virtually. At the Atlanta Motor Speedway, that cloud cover is making the track temperature drop as well, at least by 6 degrees.
I mean, look at the wind also. It is swirling there at the track, 14 miles per hour. And that is a very harsh wind that these drivers are dealing with on the straightaways. And also, the mostly cloud cover, you can see it. The track just gets so much darker. We're currently under cloud cover at the moment. And the drivers, they're attacking, they're being aggressive. But I just noticed, saw something, Wesley, on our ticker. Jeff Stabnow, Stephen O'Hare, both came into pit road. Jeff Stabnow came into pit road. James Vining and Stephen O'Hare all just came into pit road right when the window opened up to make an extreme undercut. The drivers that just came in, they can make it to the end from this point on.
81 of 134 laps. The West family are right now out in front. West, Raz, Moore, Anderson. It still sounds good like a law firm. Just new drivers' names in the top 5. Flip-flop those spots. Look at the racing there behind them. With Bloom slung like a rag doll. Hung out to dry as Anderson, Moore, Bloom, Brightsman, Smith is coming. They're all trying to get around the 25. Wonder if something's wrong with Bloom's truck.
The biggest thing for Bloom is he's stuck on the high line, and he's been caught. He's got lap traffic in front of him that he's trying to figure out how to get by. That's the 63. And, we're starting to see lap traffic building up and becoming a lot more of an issue as you as well see the pressure from that of Sean Brightsman giving a little bit of a bump to the 25. And you don't want to be giving a bump in that section of the track. That can obviously cause some danger, but they're side by side still. And when you're a lap car, such as Dan Lowther, that's just trying to figure out where to place himself, this is so hard to want to put yourself in a spot where you're not going to cause a wreck, especially with playoff drivers all around you. But you're also trying to make sure you're not losing too much ground just in case the yellow flag comes out.
Brightsman up on the inside, up the top shelf is Bloom. This is for the top 5. O'Hare now in the battle. Look at Dan Lowther. A lap truck, a lap down. By the way, Lowther, the first truck a lap down. Caution was to come out. He would get the lucky dog, the free pass, unless he was the cause of the caution or involved in the caution. And then nobody would get it. Lap 85 of 134, Samuel, and I think it's starting to get intense here. Drivers are starting to go, and I'm telling you something. Guys in red, look at that legend down on the bottom of the sticker. The red means you need a win. The orange means you got to move in by points. Samuel, it's this plain and simple. Paulson, Gamble, Stabnow, O'Hare, positions 11, 13, 16, 19. They better start, as I say in dirt track broadcasting, send it to the front immediately.
And that's why they made the pit stop early. Again, that of Stephen O'Hare and Jeff Stabnow pitted back on lap 78. Both drivers coming into pit road at the same time. Similar mindset. Hey, we might be able to come in, build a lead over the drivers ahead of us. And when the time comes when these lead drivers that are on the lead lap have to come into pit road, hopefully they'll stay out until maybe 20 to 30 laps to go. We'll have a big enough lead over them. Then maybe we'll be able to stretch out and hold on to this lead, because with the way that Ryan Bloom and Devin West have been running, those are the drivers that were on the cut line of that of Devin West being 7th in points coming into today's race, Ryan Bloom being the 8th place driver in points. For that of O'Hare and for Jeff Stabnow, they needed both those drivers to slip up in some fashion. They haven't. They've been doing well. So game had to change for O'Hare and for Stabnow. They have to go for a win.
Coming up on lap 88 to 134. And there you see Brightsman and Bloom battling each other. We're talking about these guys. You better go now. And look at the biggest climber, Stabnow. Up 5 positions, Samuel. He's up to 13th. Somebody lit a fire under the LSRTV 4K Ford.
Yeah, he's got the 4 fresh tires that he got again back on lap 78. So he's been able to get a lot of these tires warmed up. He's running, the drivers that he's around, they're 30 lap old tires that 24 has over the rest of the field. He's utilizing the fresh grip. moving forward and gaining another position. And right now, Jeff Stabnow leading the drivers that have done the undercut in the first pit, the early pit stop, I should say, as the undercut meaning that the drivers pitted right when the window opened, that they can make it from that point to the end of the race if the race stays green. If there's a caution that comes out, Jeff Stabnow is in a very precarious spot. Currently now the first car a lap down, but if anyone else goes a lap down in front of the 24, might be in trouble to be that first car, not being the first car a lap down, it might be trapped a lap down.
Inside Stabnow. He is now got around Dan Lowther a couple of trucks ago, around Judd Wakefield as well, who is multiple laps down, picking him off, getting around 2 laps down of Frank Harris. Samuel, he is the last truck on the first truck a lap down. If a caution was to come out, unless he can run down Dan West Jr., he goes back on the lead lap in the number 24.
Yeah, it's one of those things where you're banking on other drivers making mistakes or doing other things. Dennis Moore now into pit road, the 44 machine, as well as Dan Lowther going to be following suit. And also behind them going to be Stephen Paulson, a must-win driver. But for Devin West, for that of Dennis Moore, excuse me, this 44 team comes in, had 22 points for a buffer over Jeff Stabnow. That was 9th in points coming into today's race. With the amount of drivers that are still on track and that are on the track currently, it's looking like the 44, just based off running and staying on the lead lap, got to automatically point his way into the next round. But it's everyone else behind Dennis Moore, Sean Breisman, Dan West Jr., Devin West, Ryan Bloom. Those drivers are in such a tough spot. If they have one slip up, caught up in a wreck, or if they're stuck a lap down because a caution comes out after they come into pit road, it could change all their fates if they're going to move on to the next round.
More mired now amongst a whole bunch of traffic of drivers that have got to pit on used up tires. They got to go for their money stop. Samuel, those guys that just pitted, is that the money stop for them, do you think?
Yeah, that is their money stop. All the drivers that have pitted so far being led by Sean Breisman and O'Hare, and also that being of Robert Gamble. They all have made their final pit stop. They're good to be making it to the end. More drivers at a pit road. It's going to be Cole Raz, Katie Anderson that are going to be coming into pit road this time. There's the 37, as well as Kevin Smith coming in. And the drivers that continue to stay out, they've got to be thinking about Monday night. Wesley, we almost saw one of the best comebacks of Sean Breisman, just coming up 25 thousandths of a second short from coming back again to win Monday night. To Kaden Anderson, we might see a similar thing here if drivers stay out too late.
Can you say it's go time, Samuel? You called it. You said lap 100, patience is gone. They're going to make something happen and try to get to the front. Stabnow climbing now, by the way, up to 7. Strategy working for Jeff Stabnow. He needs a good points finish in that 4K Ford. As you just saw Dan West Jr., the 55, come back down to the pit lane. Now, Devin West is leading. Ryan Bloom second. Sean Breisman third. Here comes Devin West, though. He'll give up the lead and come down to the pit lane. And while that goes on, Samuel, it is allowing Jeff Stabnow to climb the scoring ticker. As Breisman and Bloom, they're going to have to pit soon. They are now 1 and 2. White third. Fourth is King. Fifth is Jeff Stabnow as we approach a century grind around Atlanta.
And you're seeing the battle for the lead. Ryan Bloom, Sean Breisman going to be making the pass here, and both drivers got to be concerned for that of Ryan Bloom. If he wants to be coming into pit road, he's just got to give up this position, but at the same time, he really can't because he's got Cole Raz pressuring and going to be forcing it 3 wide into turn number 1.
Run inside. Whoa, boy, did you just see that? Raz just razzle-dazzle, if you will, to get around Bloom's truck. Sean Breisman dirt tracking it off turn 2. Sideways, 3 to 100. And here they come. Back off into turn number 3. Sean Breisman on the binders. He might be coming down to the pit lane. Hashtag fake news. He stays out. Ryan Bloom's in 25 and Breisman to the lead.
I think Breisman's understanding, hey, I came up very close to just staying out, having enough time to catch up to the drivers in front of me and possibly win this race. If I'm going to win this, I'm going to stay out and bank on the drivers, possibly bringing out a yellow. But you got to hope for Sean Breisman that he's not the driver that brings out the yellow for himself spinning out. But with Ryan Bloom in the pit road, Jeff Stabnow going to be moving forward, but Stabnow was banking on a win. The only issue is right now the 46. He's up front trying a different move, and you just saw under ticker move the 55 getting by Jeff Stabnow.
Back to turn number 2, back straightaway, Breisman, West, Stabnow, Raz, and Anderson, they're all there. Single file, bottom of the racetrack. Cross the line. And look at this. Dan West Jr. inside of the racetrack. There's Stabnow trying to run down his teammate. Team LSRTV, Samuel. 1, 2, and 3 down the back straightaway. Lap 100 this time by in Atlanta.
Stephen O'Hare having issues. The 41 slowing down, losing ground. This is disastrous for Stephen O'Hare, who needed a great run for himself and into pit road. Not going to be able to make it. And this could be the chance to move on to the next round. Snuffed out.
This could be the proverbial nail in the dagger of the heart of the driver, virtually, of Stephen O'Hare, as he was way off the pace. Something amiss on 41. He was already 1 lap down. He now goes down a couple of more laps. Breisman, West, Raz, Stabnow, Judd Wakefield below the apron as Devin West and Dan Lowther battle for position. That's lap trucks and lead lap trucks going at it off the tri-oval on lap 102.
The lap previous to this one, Devin West, he is trying to make a statement for the 5 truck. He's trying to get a win for himself that isn't just at the Bristol dirt. And honestly, Devin West, he is flying currently. He put down the fastest lap of a 31.37 second lap time. The next closest driver, a full 10th slower than that. Devin West, he wants to get the win bad and now try to make the pass, and will do so on the 44 of Dennis Moore.
Hey, Trent Liz, one of our viewers, hashtag quick time, and she thinks down the stretch, Samuel, Dan West Jr. is going to be the man to win. Our pick, Sean Breisman. He's on the pit lane. Money stop on lap 102 for the 46, the man originally from Puyallup, Washington, now from Tucson, Arizona. James Vining, the Catman, is in. And many more as the money stop pit stops continue here in Atlanta.
And you can see the 41, Stephen O'Hare, still in pit road. Major issues for the 41 team, who has just called it a night. They have parked it, and Stephen O'Hare's playoff chance for a championship are done. As you see Sean Breisman going to be leaving pit road. Breisman, yes, he is fast, but his advantage has always been having more and fresher tires than everyone else. I don't know if there's enough time for Breisman to really close in and catch up to everyone else. The difference going to be 10 laps of tires between the 46 and everyone else, but it's really watch out for Devin West, currently in 4th position and trying to catch up to his dad.
Devin West working his way off the back straightaway, turn 2, inside. Here comes Jeff Stabnow. So Samuel, Jeff Stabnow has fell back into the clutches of the top 10 as Dennis Moore gets around him. Stabnow 6th. When does the time come for a former winner and champion of LSRTV's 24, Jeff Stabnow, to just say, I'm points racing now. I need the points race. I need to do what I can to at least advance. Is that the mindset now for the 24?
Yeah, and he kind of tried it out. He did a Hail Mary, knew that the drivers that he needed to beat were having some of their best days here at Atlanta, and that's a clutch factor for that of Ryan Bloom and for Devin West. They have been running up front in the top 5, top 10 all night long, and for Jeff Stabnow, he and as well Stephen O'Hare tried the move of pitting right when the window opened of, hey, if you pit back on lap 78, You can drive from this moment to the very end of the race, and you can make it that far, but you're going to be on so much older tires than everyone else, and 24 is now hurting. He's dropping back, losing ground. Just a straightaway away is that Ryan Bloom, and for Jeff Stabnow, for him to move on to the next round, needs to make sure he is at least 3 positions ahead of Ryan Bloom, and currently only 2 positions. This is not enough for Jeff Stabnow. Needs to see Ryan Bloom either have a major mistake or falter a couple of more positions, and the 24 needs to hold the position he's in currently.
Back straight away. You can use this saying in horse racing like at the Derby. Down the stretch they come, and these laps are winding down. Final commercial break, but we're going to go side by side so you don't miss any of it. Checkered flag when we return. For those listening on the Community Radio Network, for those watching on LSRTV in 4K Ultra HD, Atlanta about to become Hotlanta to decide who the 8 will be to race to continue on for a championship in the Truck Series.
Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, right? Our Ram trucks, truck of the year, amazing trucks. We have fun Jeeps, and then the exciting Dodge and Chrysler products. Lots of performance there, lots of excitement there. They've done a great job in really creating a full scope product line that could suit everybody's needs. Whether it's a family vehicle or a fun vehicle or a utility type vehicle or a big truck, we've got it all for our customers.
This is iRacing, the world's premier online racing game. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat to experience today's newest form of competitive motorsport, virtual racing, all from your home PC. Race virtually in indoor series from NASCAR, IndyCar, IMSA, the World of Outlaws, Aussie Supercars and more. Take on legendary circuits like Daytona, Silverstone and the Nürburgring. Join iRacing's global online racing community and get on track today at iracing.com.
Hey, it's Wesley Outland on the set of the Bull Ring on Speed 51 TV, but I also want to remind everybody that you can keep up with coverage of esports with the Northwest Cup and Truck Series, the American iRacing League, S&B Cup Series, and so much more on your home for sim racing, LSRTV. Of course, remember, you can watch it, and then you can listen to it on CRN, the Community Radio Network, at wearecrn.com. Check us out when you can.
Settle in for a fun, wild, over 20 laps remaining. Welcome back, Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outland, our LSR-TV CRN production crew from Rocket Media, ready to bring this one to bed and to a closure in the round of 12 chapter. Remember, ARCA, Northwest Cup and Trucks, they're off next week. We still have special content on your home for sim racing, but Samuel, a rest for many. And then we prepare for a 5-week stretch. Actually, 6-week stretch to the championship.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we got 3 series to figure out who's going to be the champion of Friday night for the Northwest ARCA Series, Monday for the Northwest Cup Series, and as well Wednesday night to figure out the Northwest Truck Series champion. And honestly, every single one of those playoff pictures so different from where they've been at, but there's one driver that's been feeling like the bad luck's been carrying over, and that's Jeff Stabnow, who we were talking over commercial break.
Yeah,
he's just gotten passed by Ryan Bloom. Devin West is ahead of him. If the race continues on where we're going right now, Jeff Stabnow might not be currently where he's running, would not move on to the round of 8.
You know, it's like that song by Linkin Park from back in the 90s. Got so I tried so hard and got so far, but in the end, it doesn't even matter. Unless a rabbit of a hat, a Hail Mary miracle happens virtually for the 24. He'll just be looking for race wins for the rest of the season. And all he can say so far to the driver is out of the championships for Cup and Truck and 1 ARCA win. at Iowa. And that's been all it's been for a dismal season for Jeff Stabnow. Hopefully he can take this winter time off break and readjust that safety harness and that Iracing rig and make some changes, maybe change paint scheme around. Maybe bring back the skull on the truck like he's got tonight, presented by Waltz Beard Co., and make some changes. Under 20 laps to go. As right now, Dan West Jr. is the man out in front. Samuel, Raz, and Anderson, their teammates, they're right there in second and third. Son, Devin West, is fourth. Dennis Moore, top five. Ryan Bloom, Sean Brightsman. Of course, Kevin Smith, Jeff Stabnow, Chris White. As we give you a full-filled rundown with under 20 to go, that's your top 10, Samuel.
Yeah, then Tyler King, Stephen Paulson, Robert Gamble, Dan Lather, James Vining, John Ottenbacher, Aaron Cooper, Frank Harris, Troy Daggett, and those are, and as well, Russ Lombard going to be the drivers that are still out on track. Everyone else has called it a night here and are in pit road. But as we're watching Sean Brightsman cutting his way through, I mean, we know right now Sean stayed out the longest out of everyone that was on the lead lap and tried to make sure he had the best tires to try to possibly make a hero move to gain as many positions as possible for this 46 team. As you're seeing the battle for second place, Caden Anderson making the move, moving forward. Looking at the speed currently, Caden Anderson just running about a 10th faster, even with the battling with his teammate of Cole Raz. Certainly a lot of speed we've been seeing from Caden Anderson these last 2 weeks. It has been incredible to watch. After the suspension that the 37 had, he has been putting on a show and showing why he is a contender for the championship this season. But watch out, the 5 of Devin West. He's now adding the mix. It was a 2-horse battle for second. It's now a 3-horse. Here comes the 5, Wesley.
Devin West showing signs of life, now going 2 for 1. After the teammates of Cole Raz, Dennis Anderson, Raz up the outside. Devin West inside, looking for that third spot. He got it. Trying to get on the podium of the West-West family. Could it be West-West 1-2 finish with the family as Raz will battle back. Razzle-dazzle up on the outside, West on the bottom. Proud sponsor by Tom Denschel Automotive Group, LSRTV, and now Samuel, he's coming after the Harvest Chevrolet 37 machine of Caden Anderson.
Yeah, Caden Anderson right now, I mean, looking at the difference of tires, technically between our front 5, Devin West has the freshest of the tires. Decided to be one of the last drivers coming to pit road of our top 5 currently on where they lie. And Devin West, 14 laps to go. He's running a little bit faster than his dad, but the key thing is that outside line, the progressive banking here at Atlanta. It allows that outside line, even with older tires, able to still find the momentum as well as the draft that the 10's getting from the 37 on the straightaways. Still keeping it close. This battle for second, it is not going to end just in a handful of laps. It's probably going to take us all the way to the white flag to figure out who's going to get that second place finish.
Final laps remaining in this race coming to a close here today. West and Anderson. And look at this battle. 3 red trucks going at it. That's West. There's Anderson. There's Raz. Going hard. Anderson, Raz, West. That's for second, third, and fourth. At one time, Dan West Jr.'s son, Devin West, was up to second. He falls all the way back. As Anderson and Raz gang up on him, they tag team him. And they split him as they go back into the corner. Trying to do what they can. If they can, Samuel, to throw the block on the number 5, and it's working as Devin West is starting to get impatient down the back straightaway. Boy, oh boy, about got into him.
That was a handful moment. Both seeing Caden Anderson and Devin West just both loose, wobbling back and forth. And watch out for that of Cole Raz. He's going to have to get out of the throttle. That's holding up his teammate. But these 3 drivers have to be concerned. John Ottenbacher, 89, came into pit road just a handful of laps ago. 89 is going to have a lot fresher tires, can easily pass these front 3 that are on the lead lap. But It's a very risky call when you're a lap down driver. I like the call from John Ottenbacher. Just let the lead lap drivers fight it out. Once they're in line, that's when he'll make his move.
And the question is, when? When do you go? 10 laps remaining here at Atlanta. You better make a move. You better do it now. Hey, by the way, one caution flag. That was it. One yellow flag in this race. It came out in the early going of the opening 20 laps after an incident involving, of course, the drivers of Eric Cheney and Dan Lowther. It ended Cheney's night. Dan Lowther is one lap down in 15th. And Samuel, since then, we've been wishing we could see the visit of the Banana Republic flag, which, by the way, that color is yellow. We just haven't had it yet.
I would not be surprised if we do see it. It's going to be from this battle that we're watching currently. What a save by the 5.
West!
Still tracking it, but holding on. Devin West, that slide going to be burning off a lot of rubber. And honestly, watching this battle, Devin West, yes, he's pressuring. Yes, he's trying to make this pass. But if anything, I'm watching at the times that the drivers are putting down from 2nd, 3rd, and 4th compared to the driver that's in 5th place, Sean Bridesman. That 46 is coming and might have to make a hero move in the final 3 laps of this race.
A bonsai, if you will, and he tried to pull it off on Monday night. 25 thousandths of a second. Losing, losing to Caden Anderson at the finish. 8 to go. Someone better step out of line. They better do it now because sayonara, Dan West Jr., DWJ is leading them here at Atlanta. Interval almost 6, making 6.5. 7 seconds, cross the line, 6 to go as they go back into turn number 1 and 2 with 7 remaining.
I mean, Wesley, the last turns through 3 and 4, that was beautiful to watch, showing exactly why Atlanta, such an amazing course. Got to be careful there. Caden Anderson slipping and sliding, a little bit of dinking, and there goes the 5 to the inside.
Open the door, Devin West, as Anderson was starting to do a little swing move on the inside to the outside. Anderson now trying to come after Raz. This is, by the way, for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. The leader, Dan West Jr., oh yeah, he's gone. 6.5 seconds. There you see a little glimpse of him in the back. As Jeff Stabnow's coming to the pit lane.
Waving the white flag, Stabnow in.
Oh, man.
That is the
late
ultimate
race
white
caution,
flag being thrown.
Stabnow's back in business. That's all I got to say. If a caution was to come out, Jeff Stabnow would be in business. Will it happen? 5 to go. Open hand from your flagman is showing 5 remaining in this race in the Tom Denchel Atlanta 200. Back to turn number 2. Up the racetrack is Raz. Anderson there. Here comes now West, Dan West Jr., his son, Devin West. Can he hold him off? Lap trucks in the way of those guys, by the way, Samuel, as they work off 4. We got a spinner. Snap down, spun in the bottom of the apron, but he got going again. No caution.
Oh, he's still struggling right now. You got to tell the frustration is boiling over for the 24 team that's seen his playoff hopes just dissipate. At this point, just trying to get back onto the racing surface. And oh boy, Jeff Stabnow, would he be an influence as a lap car as all 3 red machines to the high line, trying to figure out how to get by Steven Paulson.
Watching all these guys fight it out here. Late race caution. Could we see it? 4 remaining, 3 to go. Lap truck Paulson, he's out of a run for a championship. He's in 11th. He needed a win. He's in that red on the scoring ticker. And the battle of the red trucks continue. Of Raz, Anderson, West, Breitzman in that battle. 3 to go, Samuel, down the back straightaway here at Hotlanta.
If we wanted to finish off the red trucks, we just need Toby Ritter's up here. But right now, credit to all 3 drivers. You can see the progressive banking through 3 and 4. All 3 drivers, different lanes on where they want to run, and they're still practically running identical lap times right on top of one another. 2 laps to go. Dan West Jr., he is gone and banking to see that CRN 1 to go.
And by the way, you mentioned Toby Ritters. He is watching the race, but unfortunately not able to be in the races. He said he had computer issues sideline him. As right now, Dan West Jr. will come to the line. White flag in the air. It's presented by the Community Radio Network. More details at wearecrn.com. Homecoming football 2021 tomorrow night and Friday. And Dan West Jr. half a lap away to a win here in Atlanta.
Dan West Jr., I mean, like I noted on for the halftime, for the halftime report, perfect on the short run, perfect on the long run, and out of 4.
Here he comes to the line. Dan West Jr., punch your ticket now in the round of 8. Blue bar goes green. He wins the finale in the round of 12 in the Tom Denchel Auto Atlanta 200. Trent Arnold, Liz, you guys were right. Second spot will go to the Battle of the Red Trucks. Cole Rass will finish in second. Caden Anderson, Atlanta winner on Monday night, finishing third. Sean Brightsman, Devin West, what a race those guys put on. And Dan West Jr. from Shelton, Washington. Punch your ticket in to the round of eight. Samuel, of course, the celebration of victory, the agony of defeat, as many drivers are also going to be saying bon voyage at a chance to hoist the Northwest iRacing Truck Cup.
Yeah, I mean, Dan West Jr., you can just see he does not want to even get off this track. He had the perfect truck, and when you have such an amazing night where you can get up front, didn't get the pole, almost got the complete sweep of getting every single trophy you can, but this 55 team was the class and honestly the top tier driver the whole entire night. And
just use my word, man. Samuel, pick of the litter. He was the pick of the litter.
Absolutely.
And now comes the burnout, followed by the tradition of the Northwest High Five Salute. First slam in there by Chris White. He's going to run in the playoffs. Here they all come piling in. Look at this. Whoa! Oh, my goodness, did I almost win the grandstand?
To the moon. He's gone. We might need a bigger catch fence for that type of explosion. Oh, my goodness.
Wow, did you see that? That truck went so in the grandstands it disappeared. I've never in my life seen. Look at. Oh,
there
wow.
He goes.
Oh, look at Dan West. Oh my goodness, they threw Dan West in the catch fence and he disappeared. All fun and games, people. All fun and games. Nobody was hurt in the simulation of this destruction called the Northwest High Five Salute.
This is why we love simulated
racing. You wanted caution
racing.
Flags, you got them now. That's right, Samuel. You wanted cautions, you got him now. Here comes Kevin Smith. Who's he going after? Who's your B? Oh, the wall is.
Oh,
wow. Oh, my goodness. Well, sounds like he's got a problem with the wall there.
Hopefully he got
Toby
it figured
Ritter
out
is
by
unable to join us tonight. Yeah, a big red Toby Ritter is unable to join us tonight. He said that he had some type of a computer issue and it sidelined him, but he did enjoy watching. Well, 7.6 seconds at the checker flag. Dan West Jr. is the winner tonight at Hotlanta. Cole Rass second. Caden Anderson third. Hotlanta became Stellana, if you will. Sean Brightsman fourth. Devin West the top 5. Dennis Moore, Ryan Bloom, Kevin Smith, Chris White, Tyler King. First truck a lap down. Your top 10, Sammy D, here at Stellana tonight in the Truck Series round of 12 finale.
Hey, a little bit of a feeling like the ARCA series. ARCA went completely green all the way through, and we just got a 1 caution early on. Is finishing out your top 20. Stephen Paulson, Robert Gamble. Gamble, we didn't really get a touch on him much, but was kind of in a similar state of Paulson in a must-win here tonight. Came up short in 12th. James Vining showed a lot of speed and was up front challenging for the lead in the first 20 laps. Going to get 13th. Jan Lather, as well as Jeff Stabnow, John Ottenbacher, Aaron Cooper, Frank Harris, Troy Daggett, and Russ Lombard going to be finishing out your top 20.
Hell, Judd Wakefield, 30 laps down, 36 laps down, Stephen O'Hare, 93 laps down, Scott Hutchinson, Eric Cheney involved in that one, and only a caution with Dan Lowther, finishes 118 laps down in 24th, and Ray Fournier, only one driver unable to drop at the green flag, the 26 unable to take the start, so tough break there. Yeah, when we come back, we'll wrap it up from Hot Atlanta. Yeah, your take of the race. What you think of it? Hopefully we tried to make it as entertaining as best as we could with the product that was out there. One product for certain, Dan West Jr. He kicked butt, take names, and he's going to the round of 8. We'll unveil the 8 drivers that are advancing to the round of 8. We'll also mention the other 4 that have been eliminated. You kind of can read the writing on the wall and some of the things that Samuel and I talked about. It's all coming up, an extensive post-race round of 12 report on the Community Radio Network and LSRTV's coverage of the Northwest iRacing Truck Series. We'll be back, and they will prepare for a week off, and then it's on to the round of 8 to decide the Championship 4 at Vegas beginning in 2 weeks at Worldwide Technology Raceway in Gateway, Illinois. Welcome back to coverage of the Northwest Iracing Truck Series, the Tom Denchel Automotive 200 in the books. Samuel Dyer, Wesley Outlet here with you. 8 drivers will be unveiled here in a few moments of those that are racing for the championship. And the championship 8 will go to the round of 4 for the championship finale in Vegas. It kicks off after a week break at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We'll go through all that first. Top 3 here in Atlanta. Third place, Caden Anderson. He won on Monday night. He'll settle for the podium tonight in third and silver. With, of course, his friend, mate, Cole Raz. And, of course, the winner, of course, going to Dan West Jr. Caden, third. Taking the race. What wild battle between you guys down the stretch. Honestly, I want to say what's going on between you and West and your friend Anderson. Probably some of the best racing of the night.
Yeah, I feel like me and Cole had a pretty good race there at the end. Devin too, because we're all going back and forth, and I almost got Cole there at the end, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think we had anything for Dan, and it was just a fun race to be able to race with my teammate.
Yeah, I mean, Caden, this certainly really looked like Dan just pulled away. No one really had a shot at him. But the racing for second, how was it trying to get Cole? I know you guys kept on coming into pit road at the same time. How hard is it trying to get an advantage over your teammate that is always right there?
Yeah, it's really hard. I mean, we were racing back and forth together, and we're on the same setup, so we're all pretty identical. And I feel like we had a good pit strategy there at the end, and but it's really hard to get around your teammate when they're on the same setup. So whoever gets in front first is basically going to be who finishes in front of the other.
Caden, you thinking a run for a championship like in the Cup Series? Obviously, you feel like you got a shot for the title in the trucks as well, bud, going into the next round?
I do. I feel like me and Cole have stepped up our program and setups, and I feel like we're both, if Cole's in the playoffs, we'd both be able to run for a championship. But, it's just me right now, so I'm going to try my best and try to win.
All right, buddy. Thank your sponsors, as always. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to thank Harvest Chevrolet, Studio 10 Wraps, and LSRTV for putting this on.
The man, Caden Anderson of the Yakima, Washington. He'll finish in the number 3 position. Runner-up, his friend, number 10. Alan Kowicki, driver development driver in the number 10 machine. Second here tonight, Mr. Of course, Cole Raz. Cole, a little razzle-dazzle, a little survival here tonight at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. You got it done. You're happy with the podium finish in second?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy with it. I think our strategy wasn't the worst. I think it played out to salvage a good finish. I think, we were tweaking a little bit on our setup in practice, and I feel like we had a pretty good long-run car. We couldn't close up that gap. I mean, Dan did a hell of a job of maintaining the pace and knowing when to go, knowing when to save, and he did a great job getting on and off pit road there. So hats off to him, and of course Devin as well. I mean, they work so well together. So I'm happy with our finish. I think this is a good momentum boost for Caden in the playoffs, and I think these 2 cars are going to be up front the rest of the year.
I mean, Cole, tonight, great run for yourself, second place. And when you were trying to defend between your teammate as well as Devin behind you, you also came up to a little bit of lap traffic. How was it trying to navigate through lap traffic, as well as knowing that the drivers behind you are going to make some wild moves to try to get by you?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to make quick work with them, and most of them got out of the way. I mean, you go back to Monday night, it's just kind of unpredictable what lap traffic will do. Monday getting wrecked by a lap car. So, that was kind of in the back of my head. But, racing with a teammate, I feel like Kate and I do a really good job of giving and taking. When one's faster, we let them go and see what they can go do. So, Devin was reeling us in there hard. I think Caden and I burned our stuff there up trying to catch Dan. So all in all, I feel like we put together a good race.
Let's go back to Monday night, Cole. How do you take the mishap of the things you went through and put it behind you, and obviously try to be a team player to possibly help push your friend Anderson to a win? But at the end of the day, I know you want to win as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not coming out here to come run second, but I'm not in the playoffs, but I mean, I'm going to do anything I can to help Caden go get that win and advance and run for a championship. So, just got to put all the bad things away and out of your mind. But when it's happened week after week, it's kind of frustrating and hard to put away sometimes. Just because that box is getting pretty full of patience. So, you just gotta move on and just try and approach each night as a fresh start. And I think that showed tonight on where we can go run if we do that.
All right, buddy. Well, there you go. That's the driver, Cole Rass. Cole, as always, thank you, sponsors, buddy. Second place tonight.
Yeah, big thank you to Caden Anderson Designs. Got a fresh paint scheme for tonight. KDDP, Wells Johnson, Master Wrench, and LSRTV for putting on an amazing broadcast as always.
There you go. From Lake Oswego, of course, Washington. There's the man right there. Of course, Cole Rass. He will finish in the number 2 position. Victory lane we go. And we talk now to Dan West Jr., Shelton, Washington. Boy, sheer domination. DWJ, everything just fell into place perfect for you. Do you feel like you're on the cusp of being ready to defend your Truck Series championship?
Well, I think it's just a relief to get to the next round. So I felt like I kind of got lucky. I made some adjustments right before the race, kind of guessing a little bit because I didn't feel like we had the best truck in practice. So kind of a last minute adjustment. So and it paid off. So I felt like we got a little bit lucky on that. And then we just had clean air out front, right? These guys behind me were battling. I could see them back there, and they're trying different lines, and you're just kind of. You're up there up front, you're by yourself, and you don't really know what line you should be doing and what pace you should be at. But I just kept watching the relative, and it was getting a larger distance, so bigger gap, if you will. And
Are you concerned about your tires at all, that you might have used up too much too early?
On the first run, yeah, that first stint that we had, I kind of questioned that because the truck actually was just good all the way through. So I was concerned that I might have tightened the truck up too much, and but it held on. I mean, the relative was showing that we were holding that gap. So I just tried to keep pace and not push it too hard, and so each time when I got fresh tires, I just kept doing the same thing.
Dan, you are the number 1 seed going into a week break before 4 races to the Championship 4 finale at Vegas. Man, are you thinking championship contention, or is it just trying to survive this next round? And what are your take of the first 5 weeks of the playoffs?
Well, this year is such a different year. I mean, we have some awesome competitors. Guys have stepped up, worked on their programs, as it shows. So, right now I'm not thinking championship. I'm just thinking getting to the final 4, right? I mean, that's your goal, and it was it was a struggle this 4 round race here. I feel like I just kind of had to focus and not worry about getting the wins, but just good finishes. So that's what I got to do in the next round.
Well, in a closing, my friend, go ahead and thank your sponsors.
I'd like to thank Effective Web Solutions, LSRTV, and Tom Dentral Auto Group. Appreciate all you guys do.
Dan West Jr., number 1 seed. You heard me just unveil that. And, of course, a big win for him. His 4th win this year with 5 poles, 12 top 5s, and 17 top 10s for the driver out of Shelton, Washington for West Racing. Winner tonight. And, of course, the Tom Dentral Automotive Atlanta 200 here at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, you also heard me say Caden Anderson, Racing for a championship, and obviously as well, the opportunity awaits for those 2 guys. Who are the other 6? Who are the 4 that are eliminated? After a quick break from our sponsor, me and Samuel and I will unveil who stays on, who's going after a championship after tonight at Atlanta.
An automobile purchase shouldn't be hard. The hardest part for the consumer in the whole process should be selecting the vehicle. We have the online credit application. We can bring the car to you to see it, to test drive it, to deliver it. We have all the tools in place, and we've had them in place for a long time. I just think now we've perfected it. It's become part of our culture. We've, kind of taken it to the next level. It is easy, and it should be easy, and it should be fun, and it shouldn't take a whole lot of time.
Well, welcome back to the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Hey, it just doesn't sound better if we don't have that suspenseful music in the background. Samuel, your take on these guys, the three drivers obviously on the podium. Sheer domination from Dan West Jr. Bottom line, I mean, nobody could catch the double nickel. I don't even think if a caution flag would have came out, they would have had a chance. Your thoughts on that before we unveil the top 8?
Yeah, I think maybe if there was a late caution, it could have spiced things up. If maybe you find that of Dan West coming in and then a caution came out, he was stuck a lap down, and there was a what if factor if that came out. But it never happened, and because we stayed green with only one caution very early on, I mean, Dan West conquered and defended so well. I was slightly concerned for that battle for second, though. That was a very scary final 20 laps, but amazing racing to watch.
It was very exciting. It was watching Raz and West, and of course any of those guys. Anderson right there fighting for it. At one time, Anderson and Brightsman got up in there as well. At any time, it could have definitely gone down to the wire. There could have been several times Devin West got sideways, dirt tracking it. We thought Brightman was going to wreck a time or two. Raz was going to go around. We just never saw the caution flag. All right, so before we unveil the Fast 8 that are going on to the round of 8 for a championship, beginning at Worldwide Technology Raceway of Gateway coming up in 2 weeks on October the 18th, we want to first let you know the 4 drivers that are eliminated. And Samuel, so disappointing for Jeff Stabnow. He got eliminated in the number 9 seed in the Cup Series. Sadly, the same for him in the trucks. He misses the final spot. Stephen O'Hare, that Cinderella season for the 41. We talked about that when he broke and came down to the pits. He's done for. And obviously, Robert Gamble and Stephen Paulson. Easily, those 4 drivers, Samuel, they're out. Your thoughts on those 4 very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, you feel bad for Jeff Stabnow. Obviously, he knows how to get wins done. He's done it previously, but just the luck has not been there for the Cup or the trucks, and missing out for that of Stephen O'Hare. He was just the one Beaver State driver that just could not find the speed of late and just did not find that clutch factor and had to go with an off-ball pitch strategy. Didn't work out. The 41 was knocked out. And then the other 2, you think of Robert Gamble, Stephen Paulson, both came into this race. I know for Gamble, he was in orange, but because of the amount of drivers that showed up, kind of was in a must-win scenario as well. And both those drivers and it didn't show up. There's just so much top-level talent that the cream is certainly bubbling up.
And you got to say, before we go any further here and unveil the Fast 8 that are going on to the round of 8 after the round of 12 here tonight at Atlanta, Samuel, do you see drivers like teammates on the series, like Stephen O'Hare with Beaver State Racing, trying to help out Dennis Moore and Tyler King? Do you see the possibility of Jeff Stabnow trying to help out Team LSRTV for those drivers that are still in the chance of running for a championship? They're not running for a title. Their colleagues are. Do you step up and help them out?
Yeah, I mean, the ways you help out is you race a little bit harder to those playoff drivers. Maybe you don't give as much room as you would normally, but with the upcoming races for this next round, I mean, you got Worldwide Technology Raceway, Chicagoland, that of New Hampshire, as well as Homestead. I think the only racetrack that true teammates might be helping is Chicagoland. That racetrack, it's got to be about drafting as well as, figuring out what lane to place yourself. But everywhere else, it's all about yourself. How well can you avoid the carnage and get yourself up front and possibly win some races to lock yourself in for a shot to win a championship?
All right, let's cue up that suspense music one more time because I just love it in the background. It sets the stage of now the 8 drivers that are now going to be battling. The number 8 seed will go to the number 25. Ryan Bloom, he is in. He will go to the next round of the points championship, round of 8, beginning at Worldwide Technology Raceway. Number 7 seed, we talked to him tonight. He looked good. He looked strong. Tried to hook up with his daddy at the end. Devin West, the number 7 seed, and he is moving on. Sean Brightsman, your pick, my pick, just not a good top 10 finish for him until down the finish stretch of the race. He will settle as the number 6 seed, up 1 spot, by the way, in the points. Up 1 spot from 6th to 5th is Dennis Moore for Beaver State Racing, the driver of the number 44 machine. We talk about how he's improved. And, of course, the number 5 seed, Dennis Moore, Sean Breitzman, Devin West, Ryan Bloom. Those are the bottom of the top 8. The top 4 we can go in depth on. The number 4 seed, obviously, Samuel, out of 7 wins, the dominator of the regular season. 2 poles, 7 top 5s, and, of course, 18 top 10s, 14 top 5s is Caden Anderson. He's looking good, and he's got his teammate, Cole Raz, helping him along the way. You heard what he said in post-race.
Yeah, I think right now Caden Anderson has the speed to really be quick. And I think right now for that 37 team, it's short track racing. When we go to New Hampshire, also I think Worldwide Technology, that's going to fit right in the wheelhouse of the 37. Those are 2 tracks I'm expecting Caden Anderson could come in, get the win, lock himself for a championship. It's the most momentum currently that you just look top to bottom. Caden Anderson looks fast.
Kevin Smith is the number 3 seed, the man out of Hermiston, Washington. 1 win on the year. It was a big win, though. 2 top 5s, 11 top 10s. And Samuel, honestly, Kevin Smith is probably one of the highlight drivers that have stepped up and improved since last year.
Oh, absolutely. Kevin Smith getting his win at the Indy road course, starting off the playoffs. And ever since he's gotten that win, though, I've gotten concerned about Kevin Smith. He's got to put in. We know for that road course win, he put in a lot of practice, put the effort in. And yes, he's putting the practice in each and every week, but he's got to find the luck. He's got to find that clutch factor, because these next 4 races, there's no more road courses. He doesn't have that to fall back to. It's going to be a very tough and probably the biggest underdog of all the drivers in our top 8, in my opinion.
Number 3 seed, again, Kevin Smith. The number 2 seed, Tyler King, the driver, the number 21 for Beaver State Racing. The racetrack king looking good. 1 win on the season and 9 top 5s, 17 top 10s. He's the number 2 seed, 8 points back to, of course, Dan West Jr., the man that's the number 1, the winner here tonight. 4th win of the year in his 12 top 5s, 17 top 10s. West and King, do you agree with those being the final 2 in the top 2 as we move to the round of 8, Samuel Dyer?
Yeah, our top 4, all drivers that won. So that's what gave them those top 4 positions. And for Tyler King, he has been consistent with the win that he got at the Indy Oval. I think that's the biggest thing for King, is he knows how to be consistent. Those Beaver State Racing drivers have found setups to work on the long run, and I think that's what we're going to be seeing a lot in these next 4 races. Dan West Jr., I mean, he's the hottest driver. He's coming back. He's trying to defend for a championship. Of course, he would be number 1 going into the round of 8. And honestly, I would not be surprised if Dan West Jr. comes back and actually can defend his championship.
Should be a fun, exciting couple of weeks. Now, by the way, remember, we're off until the next race, which will be on October the 20th. And those races will be, of course, at the Worldwide Technology Raceway. That will be a fun race. That will be exciting. You've got to check it out to kick off the round of 8. Worldwide Technology Raceway, Chicagoland Speedway, New Hampshire Homestead, as my colleague Samuel mentioned in. And also this, Samuel, 1 more week off, my friend, and it is 5 weeks straight to decide the championship. Las Vegas will not have an off week, and they'll go right to the title once we have this little break.
Yeah, hopefully you get rested. This week is going to be a long rest for all of us. Get prepared, get your notes ready, because it is going to be a long 5 weeks, but great racing. I look at that list of tracks that we're going to. None of them look like they're going to be a weak track to look at. They're all looking like they're going to be great races to watch. And I'm just excited for this break to be over and get back to racing.
I'm looking forward to, obviously, the next race. And I said that whenever they unveiled the schedule. Worldwide Technology Raceway, Gateway International in St. Louis. First time ever in the playoff schedule for the iRacing Northwest Truck Cup and ARCA Series. That is going to be fun. You're not going to want to miss it. By the way, the playoffs, the next race for the Northwest ARCA Series will be next Friday night. That's next Friday night, October the 15th. Then we come back on the following week, the 18th and the 20th, with the Cup and Truck Series Round of 8 opener at Gateway. Samuel, always fun working with you, buddy. I think we've exhausted this to its final oblivion. We're ready for the Round of 8. Your take of Atlanta. It wasn't what I thought it was going to be, but props to Dan West Jr. What can I say? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you look at Atlanta for the whole week of all the different series. We know the most exciting finish was in the Cup cars, but the trucks, it was all about the setup. And you know, I got to give credit for Dan. I mean, he said it during his interview. He made small adjustments that he wasn't sure were going to work out, and they stuck perfectly to make his truck one of the fastest at the start. And it's those little things that you just, you know, got to trust your gut. I got to make this type of a move. And those are the things that can get you a truck victory and a win. And Dan West Jr., the champ, makes sense.
It paid off, and it worked for sure. And, man, a big win for the man that is the #1 seed and the defending champion from Shelton, Washington, carrying all that momentum as we move into a week off break to 5 week straights to the championship, and it's on to the round of 8 opener at Gateway in Worldwide Technology Raceway. As always, Sammy D, always enjoy working with you. I'm Wesley Outland. One more quick look at the exciting Atlanta Motor Speedway. Oh, yeah, from the start-finish line, from the pits, it did not disappoint. Such a special place in my heart. When I started announcing NASCAR, it was right there in that press box working with Ozzie Altman and Ken Squire back in 2017, and I just will never forget those memories. It was a fun time working with Samuel Dyer. Of course, everybody at Rocket Media, Live Sim Racing at LSRTV, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and, of course, at the Community Radio Network at CRN Sports at Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For Samuel Dyer, I'm Wesley Outland. Thank you for joining us. Congratulations, Dan West Jr., winner tonight. And the Tom Denchel Automotive Atlanta 200. Be good to one another. Keep on praying for America. Enjoy your next week off because it is going to be a wild barn burner down the stretch to decide the champion of the Northwest